Hey guys, today I am decorating some little mini banners for Halloween. Now I started this off pretty simple. I just cut out some simple triangles with my silhouette and then I used one of them as a template to cut out some chipboard to back them to make them a bit more sturdy. So that's the base of each one. And then I used my crocodile to put some holes at the top of each one. Now to start, I'm using some glitter rickrack. It's actually more foam than ribbon, and I'm using that at the top just to make it a bit more interesting and break up some of the black and white, and adding some ribbon. This is actually some Martha Stewart ribbon that I have had forever, and it does have a sticky back. So during all of my Halloween projects this year, I'm trying to use up all of that, and I end up using up almost all of it with most of my projects. So I'm just going through my die cuts here. It looks like this particular banner is going to be an orange, white, and black theme, so I'm going to pull out some coordinating die cuts and use them to decorate. So some of these die cuts, the cat, the girl that you see in the middle, and then there's one I believe that says Happy Haunting. Those are all from the Hocus Pocus collection, which is the Michaels collection from last year. And you might have seen that whenever I did my October Craftoween stash. That's the main collection that I'm using this year, and I love it. I just love the images. They are vintagey yet cartoony, so it was a really great collection to bridge the gap between some of the other pieces that I'm using. Most of the other pieces that I have are actual scary vintage Halloween stuff, but then I also had quite a few die cuts that were a bit cartoony that I also wanted to use up. So it was really great to kind of bring those two different collections or two different pieces together and make it actually look like they go together. So I am adding some craft foam, some sticky back craft foam to each of these. I really like it. This is I think it's called Sticky Winks or something like that. It's just some really thin black craft foam that has an adhesive backing. I used that on most of this project to just give a little bit of dimension and height to some of these pieces. And now I'm just adding some last minute tiny bits, some gems and bling, and then some little tiny stickers here and there. And then here in a minute I'm going to give you a close-up. You'll also see that I use some thickers down at the bottom that say Boo. I have a really hard time using thickers. I have so many of them. And so this year my goal was to kind of use them as much as I could on some of these collections. So I used those to spell out Boo on that first banner, and then on this one I believe I spell out Eek. So I'm using a doily there. I believe that one has a sticky back, but I don't actually peel off the back and use it. I just hot glued it on there because it was attached to that sticker paper. And also those doilies, for whatever reason, they're so hard to get the backing off whenever they're sticky. And so it's gotten to the point where I just stop trying and just glue them down. And they stay. I don't have a problem with them lifting off of projects. So I'm using more of that Martha Stewart tape there. A little skeleton, cartoony skeleton. And then I've got a die cut spider over on the right. And here's where I'm able to kind of tie in some of the vintage ephemera and cutouts that I have with the cartoony die cuts and use that Hocus Pocus collection to bring them together. I also have some little owl stickers that you see over on the right, and I've had them forever as well, and they're so cute, and because of their coloring they don't really fit in with a lot of things, so I've been trying to use them up, so I end up using them on one of these banners, and then I'm going to try to use the other one a little bit later on maybe some of my just fall projects, maybe nothing related to Halloween but just fall in general. We'll see how that goes. So adding more of that foam tape to the back of the skeleton to bring him up off the page just a little bit. I do like that he's kind of dancing instead of just having like a normal skeleton pose. He looks like he's doing the robot almost. I also had quite a few of those little black bats that came in the same collection with the skeleton. I think it was a Doodlebug collection, actually, and I don't normally get things from Doodlebug, because even though it's really cute, it's not my style. I'm not really into the cartoony stuff, but I love all things Halloween, and I went through a time period where anytime I saw anything at Tuesday Morning, or if I saw something at Marshall's or Ross that was Halloween and it was discounted, I just grabbed it. So that's where this particular pack came from. But I'm glad that I got it because it does have a lot of cute pieces. You'll see in a little bit there's a bunch of little candy pieces that I end up using on a banner. So I really liked having those pieces to use. And I'm going to show you a close-up here of this banner in just a moment. On this one, I incorporate more green. This paper in the middle, I believe, is from the Chillingsworth Manor collection, which is where most of the vintage pieces came from. So because I was able to use that green piece, I also used some of that green washi tape that I have a hard time using. And I'm using more of the Martha Stewart tape in the middle, and then also using up pieces of that doily. That craft sticker that you see that I just used on the right and on the top of the middle triangle is just plain craft stickers that I got a long time ago from Michael that I stamped on top of. So I've just had them in my stash. And I apologize, here in a minute the light's going to change because at this point the light started to come through the window in the afternoon, so it's going to adjust a little bit, but I eventually get it to a point where it restabilizes and it's easy to see again. So I'm using lots of little banner pieces that came from the Chillingsworth Manor collection, which are more vintage, that little frog and the insect. But then also the cauldron, the bubbling cauldron right there, is part of the Doodlebug collection. So again, I'm able to bring them together and use them in a way that they seem to fit more naturally. On the left, that caution piece is actually from a collection, I believe it might be Martha Stewart, but it came with a bunch of stickers and you're actually supposed to stick them on bottles. So I have quite a few of them They're either labels or stickers to put on bottles, you know, to make them look like potion bottles or poison bottles. So I wanted to use up those, and this seemed like a good layering piece to use on this banner. Then using up some more of that washi tape, the gray washi tape, which again I also have a hard time using. I don't know why I have such a hard time using washi tape. I always, you know, see it and I think it's beautiful and I end up buying it, and then they just sit there. They never end up getting used. Alright, so for this one it's going to say Eek, E-E-K. Here's a close-up. Alright, and the very last one here that I'm going to make is going to be a bit more on the cartoony side. It's going to use a bit more images that are less vintage and scary and more fun Halloween. I had quite a few of those left over, a lot of candy related images, and so I just wanted to go ahead and use them up all in one go, and this was the perfect way to use them. So that would really be my recommendation to you as well. If you, on any season, for any project at any time of the year, if you have a little bit of your stash left over and you're not quite sure how to use it, making one of these little mini banners is a great way to just use up the rest of those little bits, especially if they come from one collection. You know they'll all go together, and you know they're really great to include in Happy Mail. This is going to lay relatively flat. Making these triangles, you could even do that from scraps that you have left over, and so it's a really easy way to use up a bit of a collection, send it to someone who's going to love it and hang it up in their craft room. And like I said, it doesn't have to be seasonal. It could be during the year. Just find out a word, figure out a word that you could use to spell out with your banner. It could be hello or smile, even the person's name. So use up those, you know, extra bits of thickers that you have. Use up any scraps that you have left over from that collection and any little bits and pieces. And you'll see here, you know, I pulled out all these little pieces and I end up using most of them on there. I also have a lot of stickers from a sticker book that's very cartoony as well, and I've been wanting to use them all season, but they just didn't really coordinate well with a lot of the vintage items that I had, but they went really well here. So you'll see me at the end add a bunch of those little bits and pieces, and I was able to use up quite a bit of them. And on this banner in particular, I didn't even end up spelling anything out. It's just pretty plain with all the ephemera on there. But I think it still looks really cute, and because it doesn't have any words, it's fairly neutral and can be used along with the rest of your decor. Or it could, you know, be sent to someone who doesn't particularly like when things are spelled out or has words on them. So just keep that in mind anytime you have scraps left over from a project. This is an excellent way to use them up. Alright, so again, I'm just laying down some Martha Stewart tape on some of these and using up that last bit of the doily. And then just kind of arranging my pieces here. I got my pumpkin, another one of those girls from the Hocus Pocus collection, a lot of little bits and pieces of candy and candy corn, and I had tons of candy corn stickers. And then you see me here adding a little cartoon cat, and then a lot of those little cartoon character stickers like I told you from that sticker pack. And just finding anywhere they'd fit on there. Now, I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this video and found it useful and found it as a creative way to use up some of those scraps and pieces. I'm going to show you a few close-ups And then I hope that you'll come back and watch some of the other videos that I have. Remember, I have a video every single day this month for my October Craftoween series. So I really hope that you come back every day and check out some of the projects that I've got and try a few of them yourself. I hope you guys are having a great October, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye!